Erev Tov, Rabbi. There are some things, people do on Shabbat sometimes. They don't realize what it is. They don't realize what they're doing. One of the things, that we have in the Torah, it says, in Sefer Shemot, Lo tevaru esh b'Shabbat b'chol moshvotechem b'Shabbat. What does that mean? Do not light a fire, it says, on Shabbat, So the person has to be very careful about that. Sometimes people don't realize what they're doing, he wants to smoke a cigarette, or, he wants to, drive his car around, go somewhere, this is esh, it's all esh over here. So they say, Zohar Kadosh, if a person lights esh on Shabbat, lights fire, what happens is, Shabbat is a time of chesed and kindness and good things and kedusha. What happens is that when you light esh on Shabbat, you're destroying everything from Shabbat like this. You're making it into dinim, judgments, So a person has to be very careful about that. Don't play around with fire, As I say, don't play with fire, Especially on Shabbat, don't play with fire. That's not the thing to do, right? So a person has to understand that by playing with fire on Shabbat, he's destroying everything, all the good things about Shabbat, turning it into dinim. Very dangerous. What about in the Bet HaMikdash? Did they have fire on Shabbat? They had, right? You know that, right? Yeah, they had 27 days a week. So over there, it's allowed. Hashem HaKadosh Baruch Hu allows over there in the Mikdash to do fire, but not outside of the Mikdash. Right? Today we don't have Mikdash, so we don't have this today. But when Bezrat Hashem, when we come back, so we will have it again. It's the same thing. So over there, right, just the opposite. Over there, it's not. This pasuk doesn't apply over there. Why? Because it says Bechol Moshvotechem, in your dwelling places, right? But the Mikdash is not your dwelling place. It belongs to Hashem. So over there, the pasuk is not talking about that. Over there, you're allowed to have a fire. So what kind of fire do they do over there in the Mikdash? If they have to bring, the daily korban, tamid, and all these things over there, the musaf, they do fire, on Shabbat. Can you imagine? They do in the Mikdash. They do. And but if you want to bring something just personal korban, for yourself, nedava, something like to donate something, they don't allow you to do this on Shabbat. No way, right? Only something which is, in the Torah written that you have to do on Shabbat is korban. The tamid, the musaf, right? All these things, those things you do, yes. But other things, just to bring, something. Yeah, I want to bring, Shabbat, I want to bring a korban on Shabbat. No, you cannot do. This is nothing personal over there, right? Just whatever it says in the Torah. That's the only thing we allow you to do. And this thing is just the opposite, right? When you do korban on Shabbat, the one which is written in the Torah, just the opposite. It just doesn't have any dinim, right? Just the opposite. It causes good things. So a person has to know, right? What's the difference between this and that? It's not the same thing. That's one thing about Shabbat a person has to know. Another thing I want to tell you is also something practical, that a person sometimes, what happens is, he buys a new beged, new suit or something, or new coat, whatever it is, right? Or new pants. So what happens, right? There's a label on it, from the manufacturer. Tells you who made it, this company, that company, right? Whatever. So the question is, a person, he came into Shabbat and he wants to wear this thing now. He wants to make shechianu, right? On the new suit, you make shechianu on new suit. That's what it is, right? But the thing is, he forgot to take the label off. Before Shabbat. So now the question is, are you allowed to take off the label on Shabbat, or is this asur because you're doing, right, you're finishing the beged now by taking it off. You're finishing it now by taking it off. So the truth is, in the